The story begins in the headquarters of Shenjia Group located in Shoyang City. A man is seen shouting at another man named Jingying, who is his boss. He complains that he has spent every day of the last 3 months working overtime for the company, and they recently discussed a big project and he was promised a raise. And now he suddenly finds himself accused of embezzlement. Jingying pays no attention to him. He tells him that the papers for transfer were signed by him and now he can't turn back. The man whose name is Lin Shu remembers how he signed the papers for Jingying and realizes that it was him who framed him. Jingying tells Lin Shu to get lost and turns to leave. Lin Shu angrily rushes towards him and he turns back, punching Lu Chu with a force-filled punch that throws him to the ground. Lin Shu gets back up, which surprises Jingying. Lin Shu mumbles that he will become the richest man in the world, then he will buy this company and he will fire Jingying. Suddenly, the elevator dings and opens to reveal a beautiful lady wearing a blue dress. She tells Lin Shu to not wait until then and then to fire Jingying right then and there. She is Shenmo, the eldest daughter of the Shen family who owns this company. All the guards chatter about how beautiful she is. A guard tells the others that she's the daughter of the richest man in the Longshan district of Shenyang City. Shenmo is Lin Shu's ex-girlfriend and she wonders why she is there. As Shenmo makes her way towards Lin Shu, Jingying asks her to talk to him rather than Lin Shu. She scoffs at him and tells him he is fired and asks to leave. Jingying asks the reason and Shenmo says that she fired him because he messed with her future husband and future son-in-law of the Shen family. Lin Shu is surprised to hear this and Shenmo comes close to him. She tells him that the last breakup was very devastating for her and they can marry anytime. He asks if she likes him that much. She replies that she's more interested in his body. Next, we see that they have gotten married and on the night of the wedding, Lin Shu is sitting in her room waiting for Shenmo. He thinks they haven't seen each other in 3 years, and now suddenly he is married to Shenmo. He wonders if he has some kind of agenda. Shenmo arrives wearing a cute bridal dress and approaches him. She asks him to close his eyes as she's surprised for him. He thinks that she will kiss him and closes his eyes. But opposite to what he thought, she throws a stash of money at his face, telling him to take it and get lost. He is shocked and Shenmo tells him that their marriage was just an act, and she would not let him even lay a finger on her. But she will give him 100,000 yuan as a monthly living allowance. He says he will not accept that and asks her to explain clearly. She releases a strong burst of energy that pushes Lin Shu away. She says that she hates cheaters and she will not forgive him ever. He is laying on the ground and wonders what cheating she is talking about. Then he heads back to his apartment very confused, wondering many questions such as why she broke up with him, and why she called him a cheater as he never did anything. He gets back to his apartment and is surprised to see a silver-haired woman in there. He asks her who she is and she claims to be his lover from a past life. She gets too touchy and he tries to run away, but she closes the door saying that they used to double cultivate like this in their past life. She then kisses him and loads a lot of auras into his body and his body starts to emit blue light. He feels strange and his soul leaves his body. There are a lot of other souls floating in the sky. These souls are of other people who are doctors, lawyers, architects, and many others. His soul breaks into many pieces and enters all of those other souls. These pieces absorb the memory of those people and absorb the memory of 9,999 people. After that, these pieces return to form his body. 1 month later, his funeral is going on and he suddenly wakes up surprising the people present there. People at the funeral are afraid, but Lin Chu's father-in-law approaches him and says he knows Lin Chu will get better. He thinks that he should not let them know what has happened. He tells his father-in-law that he needs a place to sleep. His father-in-law, Mr. Shen, acts so nice toward him. Mr. Shen tells the maid with pink hair to lead Lin Shu into a room. As the pink-haired maid leads Lin Shu into a room, Mr. Shen comments that he thought Lin Shu is gone and wonders if the legendary resurrection is real. Shenmo, who's standing close, thinks that her marriage is a business transaction for her father. Back in the room, Lin Shu explores many memories that were absorbed by his soul. He claims that after getting these many memories, his perspective of the world has changed. He's about to see through the information behind every item and can even see everyone's real thoughts. He looks around the room and he can see the details and price of every item present there. The pink-haired maid comes with many other maids and they bring food for Lin Shu. They set the food at the table in front of Lin Shu. The pink-haired maid tells him to eat and he begins to eat the food like a hungry dog. The pink-haired maid thinks in her mind, wondering why Shenmo chose to marry someone like him. Lin Shu looks at her and the talent of a detective activates. He is able to tell that the pink-haired maid is Shenmo's maid and she is disliking him and thinks it is unfair to Shenmo. He talks to her saying that he himself wonders why she married him. The pink-haired maid is surprised at how he knows what she was thinking. Then Mr. Shen arrives there with an old uncle. As Lin Shu bickers with the pink-haired maid, the uncle arrives near Lin Shu. He touches his hand and he is taken back by the intense aura. Lin Shu asks if he has a problem, but he apologizes and gets back. The uncle asks Mr. Shen if anything happens to Lin Chu, and Mr. Shen tells him that he was in a coma for a month. Lin Chu wonders what they were talking about, and he uses his lip-reading skill to read the uncle's lips. Uncle tells Mr. Shen that someone has installed tremendous spiritual energy in him, and this has destroyed his perfect aptitude for the Huazhen Dan power. Mr. Shen asks if there's any way to fix it, and Uncle answers that Lin Chu has had the potential, but the huge surge of aura has destroyed his chi pathway, known as Meriden's. Now he can't even practice basic chi power. Lin Chu understands that they had forced Shen Mo to marry him for his latent power, and what Shen Mo meant when she said she's interested in his body. Mr. Shen, who is acting very sweet, suddenly changes his tone and talks to Lin Chu very harshly. Lin Chu calls him out for his plan and for forcing Shen Mo to lie to him and marry him for his Huangdan body. After being called out, Mr. Shen is surprised that Lin Chu knows of his Huangdan body and cultivation potential. He asks him why he's back to being a waste of space. Lin Chu says that he has no idea, but he lost it after waking up from the coma. When he does not get the right answer, Mr. Shen gets angry and asks the guards to throw Lin Chu out of the house. Lin Chu claims he means no trouble and will leave by himself. The pink-haired maid gets happy that this scumbag is leaving. Lin Chu asks her where Shen Mo is and hypnotizes her. He orders her to call Shen Mo and the pink-haired maid obliges. He comments that before leaving he has to make things clear to Shen Mo and asks her if she'd married him just for his latent potential. Mr. Shen confirms that he asked her to do it for his Huangdan body. Then Lin Chu asks him if he has his Huangdan body is more important to him than his daughter's happiness. Mr. Shen shamelessly accepts this, stating that power is everything in this world. He explains that he has been researching for many years but still hasn't reached the basic level of chi refining. So he and his uncle looked around for a way to improvise his aura and find him. Lin Chu's Huangdan body is useless for self-improvement, but whoever will double cultivate with him will easily unleash their potential. And within a few days, that person can reach the realm of the Golden Core stage. He wanted Shen Mo to double cultivate with him on the night of his marriage, but she backed out. But now Lin Chu is useless without his potential. He then asks his guards to throw him out. The news reaches Shen Mo, who gets ready. Lin Chu yells that he is Shen Mo's husband and that Mr. Shen should be thinking of her feelings, but Mr. Shen shamelessly claims that they can replace him. As Lin Chu is being thrown out, he asks if it was Mr. Shen who made it look like he cheated on Shen Mo. He turns a blind eye to this, saying it was Shen Mo who caught him playing multiplayer sports. By multiplayer sports, he means Lin Chu is getting involved with multiple girls. Lin Chu wonders why he does not remember anything and who is setting him up. He decides to fight the guards and asks us the memory of the world's #1 boxer, Wang Dadong, but his body does not have enough strength. Then Shen Mo arrives and tells the guard to stop. She tells his father that she's being raised a scumbag, he's still her husband, and that she will keep him. Even though it is raining like a dog, Mr. Shen is shocked but agrees. In Shen Mo's private area, she asks him if he sent Zhai Hai, the pink-haired maid, to her and comments that he is very clever and a scheming scumbag. He denies this, but she is not having it. She gets up and pins him to a wall. She gets very close to him and asks him what happened on the night of their wedding. She charges an energy attack, aiming it at his sensitive part. She threatens him that if he lies, he will lose his manhood. Lin Chu knows he can't stretch the story much, but he can't tell her all the memories he holds. So he tells her the truth, but skips the part about his soul leaving his body. Shen Mo says it is not hard to believe a scum like him and a lover. He gets defensive and asks her what he did to upset her. She tells him that 3 years ago she saw him with 4 exotic women in a room, 1766 of the Longhao Hotel. He denies, saying he never went to Longhao Hotel and never did such a thing, but Shen Mo insists she saw it. Zhou arrives with a lot of clothes and tells Lin Chu that if he wants to stay here, then he will have to do house chores, and if he doesn't, then he will have to leave. Zhou Hai thinks that Lin Chu is in her hand now. Lin Chu agrees, thinking that he can use his collected memories and do house chores efficiently. He is given a truckload of clothes by Zhou Hai to wash. Then he helps her in the kitchen and she makes everything very hard for him, but Lin Chu thinks in his mind that he will get back at her for his misery. While doing chores, he overhears the conversation between Mr. Shen and Shen Mo. Mr. Shen informs her that their casino in Las Vegas collected 10 million counterfeit bills. The casino manager was recommended by Shen Mo, so he berates her. At this point, Shohei says that someone is trying to frame Shen Mo. Shen Mo asks Shohei to stop talking and accept that it is her fault and that she will make up for it. Shen Mo also tells her that she will do something about those who've deceived the Shen family. However, Mr. Shen says how can she do it when the police are struggling to find the mastermind behind the counterfeit banknotes and have announced a reward. Lin Chu hears about the counterfeit notes and he loads the memory of a counterfeit expert that he absorbed. He exclaims that he is wasting time by doing house chores and he can easily make money by getting involved and making fake money. At night in Shenjia warehouse, inside a container, Lin Chu is sitting in front of a computer. He opens the Tor browser and he thinks that once he masters all the memory and becomes the richest guy in the world, he will make the Shen family pay. He accesses the dark web and looks for money counterfeiting machines. He finds one guy selling them and says that he found his guy. He decides to go and pick up the goods but realizes that he'll be recognized if he went like this. Then he activates the memories of a makeup artist and makes a disguise for himself. He goes to the decided location and the seller takes him to the machine. He checks it and confirms it is genuine. Then the seller agrees that they agreed on $5 million and asks him to pay. Lin Shu tells the seller that he has no money and hands him a single bill of $100. The seller gets angry, but Lin Shu tells him that he made the bill himself and asks him to examine it. The seller claims that it is impossible he made it as it looks almost real. Lin Shu then says the notes the seller makes are no way near authentic and can't be distributed in the market. He tells him that he needs 2 hours to print money for him. The seller agrees and Lin Shu gets to work. In the morning, he wakes up the seller and he's surprised to see that many notes. He'd printed $5 million overnight, and the seller says that if he made this much, he would have compromised quality. However, the seller is shocked by the quality and authenticity of the notes, and he says that they look as real notes. He asks Lin Shu's name, and Lin Shu tells him a fake name and tells him to call him Mr. Wei. The scene shifts inside the counterfeit banknote group, where a member of the group arrives with a stash of notes that Lin Shu printed. He hands them to his boss Wu Di to examine. Wu Di says that these are real notes. The member who brought the notes is called Wu Ming. He asks Wu Di if he remembers Yin Chao. Yin Chao is the seller that Lin Shu met. Wu Di confirms that he does, and he says that they crushed his business. Wu Ming informs the boss that he's in contact with a man named Mr. Wei, and he made these notes. Wu Di asks him to recruit him, and Wu Ming says that he already did. After the meeting, Lin Shu doesn't accept the job offer, but he proposes a partnership with them.